Hey, how you doing? Remember that old saying from Westinghouse when power grids were first being created? It's like, you can't stick a meter on it. Didn't care about it. In other words, you can't charge and tax people up to the hilt, and you know, he's already super rich, but unless you become super rich, why care about it? I had a long conversation today with an inventor buddy of mine that I've known for many years. He's the wonderful gentleman that created the ferrocell. Of course, I think I probably got, oh God knows how many hundreds of videos on the ferrocell. He's an ingenious inventor. He's actually invented something new I can't talk about. It's a medical device. I can't talk about it at all, but it's absolutely mind-blowing. His prior invention, actually his prior invention, the patent lawyer thought that it didn't exist because it sounded too fantastical. He actually had to go home and fetch the device and show it to him and how it works for the patent lawyer to be able to issue the patent because it seemed too fantastical. Anyway, we're having a long conversation about free energy. And there's two different types of free energy. There's the free energy you don't pay for, and then there's free energy meaning spontaneously manifested with no kinetic input. Kinetic input being nuclear, hydroelectric. Solar is different. That's actually an energy converter. Solar, wind, not solar. Wind, hydroelectric, and wind, hydroelectric, and nuclear, and other forms of kinetic input. And generators don't generate power, as I've said many countless times. They actually manifest power. There's a temporal variable involved. And when that's introduced on a dielectric plane with a magnet in the middle, whether it be 3-phase or 4-phase or 5-phase, power is manifest. But it's you need to look at the FCC, Federal Communication Commission, Port 21 and Port 15, he told me. He came up with something years ago. Right now, there's a company that he has an agreement with. I looked up the company, and he told me not to mention the company, but I was perusing their website. They actually have power transmission. In other words, you plug it in and it transmits power wirelessly. I don't want to name the company. There are a few companies, so I think I'm safe in saying that. But he developed many years ago, and we were talking about the government and what we were humorously referring to as the battery mafioso, that they'll come after you. It's actually illegal. What if I said, there are places in the United States, by the way, where it's illegal to harvest rainwater falling on your land. There's New Mexico, places in Colorado, I'm sure there's tons of places in California. To me, that's absolutely ludicrous. It's going to fall anyway. But there's this, well, let's call it a Marxist idea that the water belongs to everybody. It's like, you are, of course, part of everybody if you own the land. I mean, that to me, that is the most, you don't have that kind of garbage in Kentucky. But it does exist many different places in the United States. He invented this device, and he was talking about trying out in different parts of the United States. He had hundreds of watts in Pittsburgh because it wasn't extremely far from a radar station. It gathers, it's an ambient receiver for ambient energy collection. And there's radio, AM, FM, satellite, weather radar, TV broadcast station. I've mentioned this a million times too. If people could actually see the 10 gazillion RF radio frequency transmissions that are passing through your body every microsecond, it would literally scare the hell out of you. Anyway, he created, and he also mentioned that him and his buddy came up with a wallpaper that you just plug in the base of the wallpaper, plug it in, and all of it together, network it all again. Not only would you have a Faraday cage, which is meant to keep stuff out, but this would not only keep energy, RF, spurious ambient energy out, but it would also, too, collect it and transform it into energy. You can look this up, and you're reading all the legalese in Part 21 and Part 15 of the Federal Communication Commission, that, the absurdity of this is so stupid, it's hard for me to talk about. But we're talking about stuff that
Indiana, East Central.
is a modulation. Of course, it's an energy circuit. All light, all radio, all of it EMF, electromagnetic frequency. It's RF, radio frequency radiation. In other words, this is legal.
Expected at this time.
Okay, it's a broadcast, and this is a government station for weather. Of course, there's endless millions of RF, radio frequencies out there that are, TV, radio, on and on and on and on. It's okay to do that, but there is legalese within the FCC Part 21 and 15 and two other parts that I should have written down, but we were having a long conversation on this. His name is Tim Vandarelli, too, by the way. You can look him up. He owns the website, too, called Ferrocell, where he actually sells Ferrocell, his invention. He actually let the patent lapse so everybody could have at it. He's up there in years. I talked to him twice today, actually. But he is not allowed. It is illegal for him to sell and propagate this device. So it's legal to do that. Turn on your radio or your TV or satellite. But it is against the law to use that same energy that's out there and penetrating a bazillion frequencies, penetrating my body and your body right now, for power generation. His magic wallpaper, I'm calling it, would have not only blocked out RF, but would have been a source for power generation. Tell me how evil you think that is. By the way, on this same ilk, I've heard of this, and this is still off in the near future. It could be the near future. That there'd be a solar panel tax. You talk about it's illegal in certain parts of the United States to collect rainwater. They're talking about this tax for solar panels where you're harvesting the light circuit that's falling on your house or on your land. So they have this kind of like a car tax, a vehicle registration tax once a year, a tax on solar panels. They already have a tax on alcohol. Basically, it'd be kind of like an alcohol tax, except it'll be a tax on the light falling on your land. It's just, I stutter and I say that slowly because it's so incredibly evil. It's really kind of beyond belief. By the way, when I look off like this, what I'm looking at is a mirror back behind the camera to check recording feature. It's detailed. Don't let me get into it. It's kind of boring stuff. We have now an astronomically high price on fertilizer. It's all about control. Everything is about control. You control the rain that falls on your land or your house. Control the sunlight that falls, and that's coming. The sunlight that falls on your house. You can't collect. You could tune in your TVs and your radios and whatnot, but you actually can't take that same energy off of my buddy Tim Vandarelli's device and harvest energy off of it. That's already out there for that. I was talking with my buddy today. He was talking about people using induction coils, which is really, really dangerous, by the way. It could arc and kill you very easily. Using induction coils to harvest literally free energy from power lines. Very, very dangerous. It's an induction coil. That's just wickedly dangerous. But harvesting the RF that's actually penetrating your house and your body, it's already there. I can turn on the radio, but I can't harvest the energy and charge, like this 200 amp hour lithium battery off of it. Let me actually check one thing really quick. This is the first time in a video I've gotten up. I thought I actually heard the mirror drop, but it didn't. That's the first time in thousands of videos I've gotten up from a video. I'm not going to edit. I'll edit that out, but I won't edit it out. Sorry, I checked that. I like to keep my videos simple. I like to maintain a train of thought. I'll edit that out, but I won't really. I was just shocked. I knew all of the horrors of what government can and is willing to do. See, he has the invention. He's a brilliant inventor. You can go look him up on his website. Tim Van der Rale, you can look up some of his patents. Some of his patents have lapsed. He's purposefully not re-registered them so he can give them out. He's a very, very generous person. I wish I could talk about the medical device he invented. I don't dare say a word about it, but it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's going to change the face of a lot of stuff. You see, he said he was getting hundreds of watts in Pittsburgh, and of course it depends on where you're at and how much RF radiation you're at. You're obviously not going to get much in the deep hollers of Kentucky as you are in the middle of Pittsburgh. Many places that the device... I would like to see how to... I think the plan should be put out there. He has an agreement with this other company, though, which I don't want to mention. He might open himself up for lawsuits, but I think he should actually give the plans out to people. I know how to build an induction coil, but apparently this can take minuscule RF radiation from multiple sources, a broadband receiver induction for power collection. No different than, like in my cabin, I use my roof, which funnels down to this 320-gallon tank, for water collection. Same thing a solar is. Of course, it's a gigantic light bucket, which is charging my battery array out at the cabin. It's an ambient, he calls it, there's a name for the device, which I don't want to mention. I can't mention the company, and I can't mention the device, but he calls it his ambient energy harvester. Tell me what you think about this. I love reading the comments. By the way, I got a couple hundred of these for free, and it's called, you can look it up, it's called trioxane. It's an emergency fuel for cooking your food, and it's based on formaldehyde. But most of them I had to throw away. You can see there's a little cube in here. It's white, and you light it up. It's got a blue flame, and it heats your food. But formaldehyde being, this is a hermetically sealed unit, but a lot of them were completely empty because it had seeped, it had decrystallized and vaporized itself so fine, even though this is essentially a totally, or basically totally, impervious container that it's in, it had seeped out over the years. So there's just a little puff of gas in it. They're completely empty, so throw away like 95% of them. There's only a handful left where the trioxane, wicked toxic stuff, is still inside. Emergency, this is U.S. surplus. It's kind of funny how this impervious container actually was able to seep loose. Sorry, I've had a really rough past couple of days, just been incredibly busy off the hook. But the FCC had already foreseen this, and they put in place that you can't harvest RF energy, which you're harvesting anyway when you're turning on your radio or your TV or your satellite TV. You could do that, but you can't harvest. That's just ridiculous. That's like saying a homeless person's collecting aluminum soda cans. It's like, well, it's okay for the homeless guy to collect soda cans and resell them. But if the homeless guy dares collect the soda cans and melts them into utensils, I've seen videos like this in India where they melt down a bazillion soda cans and they make giant woks out of them and stuff. Useful utensils, which is really smart. Like if a homeless guy did that and had his own smelter and made something out of it, like forks and spoons, or not that you really want to eat off of aluminum. I don't know, knickknacks, tables, maybe the homeless guy's making aluminum tables. Oh, that's totally illegal. You could harvest the cans and sell them, but you can't melt it down and make something useful out of it. That's the exact same analogy. I don't know how many people are aware of that. It's one of the really main reasons why I wanted to make this video. And we all know how evil, I do anyway, how incredibly evil the G-O and the V and the T is. Has been, is, and will be. But that's just like the pinnacle of evil. They do not, that's free energy. There's, of course, once again, there's two different types of free energy. Free energy manifestation, which is what most people think of when they think of free energy. And there's free energy like my inventor buddy Tim's device, where it takes what's already passing through your body every microsecond of every day from the day you were born until the day you die. Oh, no. You could turn on your radio and use it that way.
North
But how dare you use an induction device and use that as a storage medium for energy? That is illegal. And that is easily one of the most evil things I've ever heard of. If you want to read the boring legalese of FCC Part 21, Part 15, and there's 2 other parts. I'm sorry, we did a lot of talking for hours on the phone. You can go look that up. But this is true. It's not any tinfoil hat nonsense. It's true. Can't collect what's passing into your house without your permission, I might remind you. And I love this idea of as a brilliant invention. It's not only a Faraday cage to block RF, but it's also too harvesting energy. Basically pluggable wallpaper that you roll it down, you plug it in. I guess each roll that actually lines a room or the house, you can plug them in series and start, have one of these suckers. While you sleep, while you eat, while you take a shower, harvesting energy off the RF that's passing into your house. Oh no, FCC says that's illegal. What level of insanity, greed, I am really that tired. Selfishness, corruption, tyranny are we talking about? F a C a C. Which is no different than saying the G-O and the V and the T. Tell me what you think. I'll read your comments. I'm sorry I seem so kind of out of it in this video. I've had a really, really, really busy day. Normally it takes me like 15 minutes to get home from the other side of the city, but like every person in this city decided to have a wreck at the same time. And I had to like backtrack half a dozen times, turn around. It took me over an hour and 40 minutes to get home, and it normally takes me 15 minutes to get home. That's pretty bad. By the way, right now, if you have a Sam's Club near you, I'm going to go. I got one in my backyard, and I have one at my cabin. I'm going to go pick up another one. There are these hammocks that have the base to them. So it's the whole thing. It's freestanding. They're normally 79 bucks, I think. I've got 2 of them. They're wonderful. I love them. And they're on clearance at Sam's Club for 32 bucks. I don't know if you have a Sam's Club membership, but go get yourself that hammock. I'm going to go tomorrow. I should have picked it up today, but I picked up some food, which is, what did I get today? I got chicken bits, a watermelon, some scrubby pads, Scotch-Brite scrubby pads, chicken bits. Oh, and my God, some of that chicken Alfredo lasagna. I know it's not good for me. Man, that stuff is really good. If you see that chicken Alfredo lasagna at not Costco, Sam's Club, excuse me. Hello, God, I really am that tired. At Sam's Club, get it. It's called chicken Alfredo lasagna. Oh, my God. Man, that stuff is so good. Make your tongue beat your brains out. You ever heard that saying before? I'm sorry I'm so tired in this video, but I really want to talk about this. I apologize very much to you. And thank you very much. Have a good day. Can't harvest free energy that's passing into your house without your permission. Oh, that's not tyrannical at all. Oh my God, I'm really tired today. Humble apologies.